we are showing off, playable games that, support PlayStation Move at the same time, 3D stereoscopic gaming. People are getting what PlayStation Move can do in terms of potential of the hardware system, because Worldwide Studio, we were integral part of designing the hardware system, and we are very happy that we have got the hardware that we wanted. And many of games, we are trying to show off the potential of the PlayStation Move, and that's exactly the kind of reactions we are getting. Personally, I think PlayStation Move is much easier, simpler way to control games. And people may have different opinions. That we are very happy that what we have with PlayStation Move. I'm completely confident that 3D is here to stay. 3D TVs install base will increase. Lots of movies will be made in 3D, and we are learning in the video game industry how to better use the 3D stereoscopic technology. Gran Turismo 5 is the biggest and best Gran Turismo yet. Kazunori just announced a new feature that bridges Gran Turismo with between PS3 and PC. You can play some of the features of Gran Turismo 5 on PC or any web browser, and you can be always connected to the universe of Gran Turismo 5. God of War HD collection that we released last year was absolutely an inspiration for many developers, including our own internal teams, and we saw the huge potential of bringing our PS2 classics to PS3 with improved high definition graphics, as well as better frame rate, as you say. We are not showing the 3D version of Echo and Shadow of the Colossus at TGS yet, but what I've been seeing in the early version of these games, Echo and Shadows in 3D are absolutely amazing. And of course, you talked about frame rate. It's rock solid 30 FPS. I'm very, very optimistic about the future of the Japanese game industry, and because of the cultural difference, Japanese consumers want games made with the sensibility to the Japanese audience, and this is the time that people in Japan have been waiting for. Is a great games made by the Japanese publishers. I think the angle of like a Move versus Kinect, Kinect creates a newsworthy thing for people to look at, and comparison with Kinect allows us to communicate better what we are offering with PlayStation Move. So lots of games based on the motion control can cross the borders of different cultures. That means lots of games made in the US and Europe might do better in Japan, and the same way the games made in Japan might do better in outside Japan if it's based on the consumer experience rather than the character design or story setting. Because it's less about the story or culture, it's more about user experience. So lots of games based on the motion control can cross the borders of different cultures. One of the Move titles coming from Japan studio called Echo Chrome 2. It's a very, very fantastic game that shows off the capability of Move, and that shows the creativity of people in Japan who are making games. So it's a small title, but it's unique, and it's very creative. So I like people to take a look at that game.
Congratulations.
We are bringing lots of new experience with 3D TV and the PlayStation Move. I'd like to ask people in the US to see themselves to experience what it is that PlayStation Move is doing, offering, and also what it is that 3D TV is offering to game experiences.